All right, joining us now is volleyball coach Rich Feller, as the Bears get a big week coming up and an unusual week as far as scheduling-wise, with USC coming to town on Wednesday, then UCLA 4 days later on Sunday afternoon. It's been tough, I know, for football, doing night games on the road, but your schedule, and it's the good and the bad, because you're getting exposure. This is exactly what volleyball programs and soccer's and so forth need and want. But to do it, you got to make some sacrifices, and in this case, you play on a Wednesday and a Sunday afternoon.
It's tough, and it's tough for the student athletes certainly, and everyone's in the same boat. And, obviously, we're not having the kind of season we wanted to have, and the schedule doesn't help with that, because you can't get back and teach and learn and recover and get ready for the next match, because it's 2 days later you got another match, or sometimes 1 day later you have another match. We got home Sunday night at about 9 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
Had a morning practice. Is that this morning? Yeah, that's this morning for about an hour, trying to recover after playing yesterday afternoon. And then we have one more practice tomorrow before USC comes in. And then an odd schedule. We wait 4 days to play on a Sunday, but we have to take a Thursday off. So it's been a hard road this year, and no excuses. But the team is hanging in there. They're very positive. We know that we're going to catch a break, and we keep working hard. We're going to keep learning and getting better and better as the year goes on. It's just the Pac-12 conference is awfully tough this year, even more so than other years.
Yeah, I mean, there's no margin for error. And you've got a relatively young team. You've got one senior, Christina Higgins, who is obviously a great player. She's eighth in the conference in kills. That's saying a lot for her. But you've got a lot of freshmen and second-year players that when you go against these other teams that are experienced, it does make a difference.
It really does. And we've got inexperienced players at key positions, and there's just enough of them out there that they don't know quite what it's like to be in the Pac-12. They've learned now, obviously, in the last 6 weeks. But it's a tough mix, and the older players are really working hard to keep that leadership. One of our leaders is Lillian Schoenweiss, who's one of the best captains we've ever had, and is working hard and not getting discouraged. And she's been there. She was here the year after the Final Four year. And then Christina Higgins, of course, is leading our team in kills and up in the stats in the Pac-12. But here's one of our big leaders is Maddie Kerr. She's an old lady as a sophomore, and she's one of the steady players on the team, and one of the ones that's keeping people going and pushing them and hating to lose as much as anyone. So that's kind of the emblematic of our team, is one of our great leaders is only a second year.
Well, you talk about leadership experience, but maybe case in point, your match at Utah this past week. You've got the first. I mean, you're right there to win the match. You're 24-21, right?
Right.
And
23.
23. You would have gone to 20. So you get a hit, they get a block, and unfortunately it deflects slightly off of one of your players. Yeah. I mean, it's a point, but instead of being a match point, 21, now it's 23-22. And that experience, sometimes you're just a little bit in shock. How do I handle the situation?
Yeah, and we had played our best match to date up to that point, and they got the break. We didn't respond very well. The emotion, the adrenaline, whatever it is, and
on the road.
And on the road, and maybe a more experienced team just goes, hey, doesn't matter. And we might have done that too. We just couldn't execute the next 3 plays, and suddenly it was 24-all, and then they went on a 2-point run and sent us to a 4th set, and we were still reeling, didn't play very well in that one, and then the 5th set is anybody's battle.
Let's talk about a couple of your young players that you've got in the lineup that are doing a really good job. Ashton Smith Gooden was a really highly recruited player at Rancho Cucamonga, and Christine Elfton, another kind of a local product, South Bay, Woodside. They're getting a lot of action at the outside.
Yeah, they really are. They were our 2 starting outside hitters for the bulk of the preseason, and just sort of struggled a little bit as we got into a little heavier competition. They sort of battled a little bit back and forth. One would have a good night, the other would have a good night, and kind of went back and forth a little bit. And Alfton actually came out against Utah swinging hard, played 3 incredible good sets, was really scoring in smart, intelligent plays, and showed that she was very capable. She didn't come back as strong the other night. We put in Ashton Smith Gooden, and she ended up hitting 438 against Colorado, and was one of our bright spots. So if we can get them to both be on at the same time, or both to play that game every night, and that's what comes with experience. And we're going to be in pretty good shape, particularly down the road.
Yeah, as we mentioned, really an underclassmen-laden lineup. You can have virtually everybody coming back for you next year. Okay, let's talk about this week. You've got the Trojans coming to town, the women of Troy. They're 4-4 in the league, which means they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They lead the conference in aces. They're good in that department. And UCLA coming to town on Sunday. This is a team that's got firepower. I mean, they can hit it. They're number one in a lot of those offensive categories.
Yeah, these are 4-4 does not tell you how good USC is. Believe me, they're a team that's trying to find their own identity right now too. They're changing their lineup a little bit. They went from a 2-setter to a 1-setter to a 2-setter using a different setter, and they're kind of messing around with it a little bit right now. But they do lead the conference in the country probably in aces, thanks to Samantha Bricio, who's got one of the nastiest jump serves that you'll ever see anywhere, and she can really bring it. She set every record for USC already. And they got size. They don't have a weakness at the net. They've got big players everywhere. So they're gonna bring it to us for sure. We've had good success against them over the years, and hopefully we can match up with them a little bit and maybe get a win, at home. It would be nice to bring one home to Haas Wednesday night. UCLA is the most improved team in the conference, going from not making the tournament a year or so ago to now competing and beating some of the very best teams, including Oregon, just this last weekend. They've got a senior, Karsta who's playing opposite lefty, has been up and down through her career, and she's just brought it to another level this year, hitting front row, hitting back row. She's their go-to, I think, leading the league in a lot of categories, and they know how to win right now, and they're playing really good ball.
Yeah, the only area that appears that both these teams are somewhat vulnerable is that they haven't been great defensively at the net, per se. They're the last two teams in blocks, but their offensive capabilities have overshadowed those. So Wednesday night, 7:30, it'll be on the Pac-12 networks. Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock, also on the Pac-12 networks, but we would prefer that you show up in person.
Yes.
And cheer on the Bears as they seek a victory this week against the Southern California schools. Rich, thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it. Good luck this week.
All right. Thank you very much, Todd.
You betcha. Rich Feller, volleyball coach for the California Golden Bears as they host the women of Troy and UCLA Wednesday and Sunday.